wanna know what you're thinking. There are some things you can't hide. I wanna know what you're feeling. Tell me what's on your mind.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Front Row Negative, the podcast. We are somewhat back to do Halloween spooky stuff. I am your host Aaron, and I'm joined by
Chris. You probably may or may not remember my voice.
It's been a minute.
Had a baby and lost a life, like a social life. Yeah, so it's been a while.
But it's a beautiful baby.
It's a beautiful baby, though. It happens. And you heard that voice. We're joined with our guest tonight. We're joined with our guest tonight, straight out from the horror convention scene. He's been a repeat guest. We've had him on before to do Halloween stuff and to talk conventions and everything. Mr. Scott Fontenay. How are you doing,
gentlemen? Thanks for having me by again. I'm doing very well. Been pretty busy and everything. Things are going great.
That is good.
As always.
That is good. And speaking of horror conventions, while there is one happening right now, there's one happening right now. You, sir, are kind of the mind behind one of Houston's biggest horror conventions.
Yes.
How was your show this year?
I am part of the Houston Horror Film Festival, which also runs with Houston Horror Events LLC. Me, Tony, Justin, and Troy put those together, and our flagship event was this past August, and it was a phenomenal time once again. The venue was packed. Everybody had a good time. It was an awesome fucking show, man. It was very, very badass.
Wait, well, that's awesome here. I mean, I saw a lot of pictures on social media. I saw a lot of pictures.
I love watching. We get so many walkthrough videos that are done.
Yeah.
That I always go back to just to see some things I might want to change. I do pay attention to all those videos. All the ones everybody makes, I make sure that I go back through and see what some concerns, some complaints were. You know, we did the same thing as we did last year where the Friday, we open up on the Friday, and the Friday night, me and Tony stay up till God knows, till the sun comes up, talking to attendees to see, what was good about today, what do you think we should change, and make adjustments on that Saturday before it gets too crazy. But we once again, hit right at 10,000 people on the Saturday, and several thousand on both Friday and Sunday. Sunday was very, very chill. We had probably about 4,000 people on the Sunday, but because it's stretched out throughout the day, it never gets overly crowded. So it's kind of a good flow and everything. And, it worked out really, really well. But it was a hot summer. What was bad is like the big room, because we had people flowing in there so much on the Saturday, the doors never closed. So the AC took a while to catch back up because we literally could not close the doors because it was a steady sea of people walking in and out the entire time. It was pretty nuts, man. But it was a great show again. We had a blast.
I mean, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, it's great to hear. And it looked like an amazing show. I wish I could have attended. Life happens as it normally does. And hopefully I'll be able to come out to the next one. Yeah. So
and it was interesting with this one too, because one of the things that we discovered, because with the SAG strike and the WGA strike, we had to do away with panels. We had a whole bunch of stuff we had to change up. And it was interesting working around all those rules. And because we had to get rid of so many panels, we literally had 2 celebrity panels. That was it all weekend because no other actors were doing panels. So we did a cosplay contest. We brought Carrie out there. He interviewed Cherie Curry. And did a panel. We had a couple of horror trivia panels and stuff. And I was amazed with how incredibly popular those were. So we're hopefully going to implement some of those back again next year.
Okay.
Those went really, really well. So we're trying to do the old John Simon's Comic Palooza thing of content.
Yeah.
Keep people there and keep people entertained. So.
Yeah, I mean, the show that me and Chris attended, we saw you running around. We saw you, putting out fires, really keeping really busy. Were you able to attend or meet anybody this year that you've been wanting to do?
Yeah, I pretty much slow down for the most part on the Sunday, but this year I've learned to delegate a lot better.
Yeah.
To where I can actually enjoy the show more. But I definitely one of the ones I was looking most forward to meet was William Forsythe.
Okay.
But what's interesting about William Forsythe is if you see him and you remember some of his characters, you think this guy might be an asshole.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
honestly one of the nicest guys I've ever met. I mean, he was incredibly welcoming. Me and my daughter hung out with him for a little bit.
Mhm.
It was really, really nice. But I have to say the most genuine and sweetest celebrity that was there this year was Heather Matazawa,
Nice.
who is she is just such a sweet soul. I mean, she was welcoming to everybody. She hung out at the after parties all night. In the morning, she was right there with all the fans at the hotel, hanging
Yeah.
out, having breakfast with people. Everybody was really, really great. I mean, we didn't have any celebrities that I would consider diva-ish or anything. Even Billy
Okay.
Zane had a great time. It was a really, really fun show, man. Ken Foray was awesome to talk to too. That guy has some awesome stories.
Yeah, Kim Foray seems like he does.
What was cool is, the movie I wanted to talk to him about was Night Riders, the George Romero movie.
Let me spit on my drink for a second.
And I don't know if you remember this, but Stephen King has like a fucking 45-minute cameo. It is the oddest thing. Normally you see Stephen King in a movie, he pops up for a second, he's gone. In Night Riders, he was actually in there for a good 10 or 15 minutes. And that was during Stephen King's drug phase, I think. And Ken told me some really cool stories about them hanging out at the Ramada Inn.
Yeah.
And Stephen King, he was like, we were sitting there drinking at the Ramada Inn, and all of a sudden Stephen King started throwing out these movie ideas where it was some weird thing about a giant turtle that was running around eating people. And he says, I would think to myself, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, but it's Stephen King. Can it be all that bad? So yeah, Ken Foray.
Oh my God.
I mean, I will say Stephen King does have one of the probably best characters, not one of his own works, but in Sons of Anarchy, where he's he's the cleaner.
Yeah.
And he comes in and takes care of
wow,
all the bodies.
Yeah.
So that's
forgot about that. Holy crap.
Yes. Yeah, Stephen King, he's either coked out of his mind in his role or he is doing a good job. It's one or the other.
I love those Stephen King anecdotal stories you hear from back in his drug days and stuff. Like he doesn't remember writing Cujo. He woke up one day and there's Cujo. He's like, oh, I wrote that.
He definitely wrote that. So, but yeah, man. Well, that's great to hear about your show, and I'm glad to hear it's doing well, and I'm glad to hear that this year was a bigger success.
Yeah.
I mean, 10,000 on a Saturday.
We've honestly outgrown the venue, but we didn't have time to find something new for next year. So we will be returning to the West Coast for at least another year. Or we look for something else. The problem is trying to find a place big enough for what we do.
Yeah, yeah.
Without we can move downtown, but do I want to ask our attendees to pay $30 in parking and all kind of other shit before they even walk into the door? So they're gonna pay more for parking than they pay to get in our show.
As long as you don't do what Texas Frightmare does, and that's have like 20,000 plus people in a cramped little hotel that can't support that many people.
Right.
And,
that's one thing we know not to do. So.
And let's be honest, a lot of horror fans are not skinny people.
Yeah.
They're not. So some of those aisles are one way only.
Yes.
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? We're all little fluffy in your pants?
I mean, I think the worst was I see people complaining about the vendors not having 4 or 5 X size shirts.
That's fine.
And I'm just like, walk sideways.
That's a different problem though. Like comics, comic book cons, horror movie cons, anything. It's like, what do you think? Are we fitness gurus? Get the fuck out of here, man.
That's true.
Anyway.
But speaking of horror, Scott, we've asked you to be on the show for one reason. It is the spooky season, and it's time for our annual brackets.
Yes.
This is our third year in doing this. Third year in doing this. We enjoy it. I love getting the feedback from the listeners. I love getting the feedback from the friends I talk to about why did this one beat this one? Why did this title beat this title? This movie should not have gone that far. There's always these things. And especially last year with that one Dracula, the Satanic Rites of Dracula, making it as far as it did. Because people still hate that movie, but apparently Chris and Drew Marmonick loved it and kept pressing it forward. So we love doing that. And we brought you on because we have one bracket that, as it randomized everything, it did. It definitely was. But Scott, your brackets tonight, you are helping us judge, jury, and execute the creatures and monsters section of our brackets. Now, some of these are beloved cult classics. Some of these are the utter $5 bin discount DVDs that you would find at your local Family Dollar.
Right. As long as they're fun, though. You know how they are.
Some are fun. Some might not be fun. It all depends. Like, what's your pain tolerance? It all depends on your pain tolerance. So let's start this off. We've got, I'm going to go from the bottom and go up, but we got our eight contestants. First up, we have the cult classic Tremors, starring Kevin Bacon and a few other people, including the grandpa from Three Ninjas. He's in there. And that's going up against Warner Brothers sequel cash cow, Gremlins 2. So, Scott, you're the guest. What is your first vote?
Okay, so this one honestly is a pretty easy one to go with. While Gremlins 2 is a fun movie and some of the characters are awesome, it's Gremlins 1 of a fever dream. I definitely have to go with Tremors. Tremors is just a classic. And I mean, just the cat. Everything about Tremors is so good.
It is.
You know, it's funny. The special effects are great. The method they use for making you scared of these things that are underground and you can't see, just with camera angles with air bursting out of the ground, making you think something's moving towards you. That movie's so well made that Tremors is going to be hard to beat by a lot of these.
True.
So I definitely got to vote for Tremors on that one.
All right. That's one vote for Tremors. You got, again, Kevin Bacon, the grandpa from Three Ninjas. You've got the one character that people did not think would ever become a cult hero, and Burt Grummer.
And he's been in every single one. He's been in all 50 sequels.
He's been in all of them.
Constant, man.
I mean, who would have thought the father from Family Ties would be the gun-toting, bunker-making graboid hunter that he is now, that he's known for now. So, Chris, what's your vote? You've got Gremlins 2, you've got Tremors.
I've set a precedent in these brackets as the guy who's a bracket buster.
And apparently Gremlins have taken over his internet. He is frozen as he's talking.
And, there's part of me that wants to keep my...
Okay.
It's apparently one way with him right now, too. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Chris. Can you hear us? Because we cannot hear you, and you are frozen on screen. This is a great welcome back episode. All right. So
it happens to the best of us, man.
It definitely does. It definitely does. He's still frozen? Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Okay, well then I'll put my vote.
Okay.
Because I love Gremlins 2. Gremlins 1 is great. Great Christmas movie. I watch it every year. But Gremlins 2, I love the creativeness with the different kinds of gremlins that are in there, like the vegetable gremlin, the goofy one, the spider one.
It's tons of good stuff.
And then you have all the parody gremlins, like when the Batwing one that makes the bat symbol through the wall.
Yeah. You have all the call outs.
You have all the Warner Brother call outs. All right, Chris, you're back.
Man, listen. I was telling you tonight. I apologize.
It's okay. So what's your vote?
No, wait, for real?
Yes, we heard nothing.
Okay,
we heard nothing.
Am I here?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
You heard? Okay, great. So, anyway, I'm a bracket buster. I mean, Tremors was innovative in a lot of ways with like Scott said, with what they were able to pull off with the minimalist approach to,
Desert
what
Jaws.
they did with the bursts of air and there you go. And that's pretty much what Tremors is, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But you had Gremlin, you had Hulk Hogan in his prime. You had genetic experimentation. You had either transsexual gremlins in the bathroom. There's a lot of different things, What was that? Dude, it's 23, so I don't know what the hell to call that gremlin anymore. Was that really a gremlin?
She was a female
Female
gremlin.
The pronouns now. The pronouns for that gremlin now were because she's probably dead.
No, she didn't die. She ended up marrying the guy from Inner Space.
That's true. He was from Inner Space.
With Captain Deep Space Nine over there.
Sure, he was.
I'm gonna go with Gremlins too because I have nostalgia. Deep Space 9.5. Deep Space 3.5. I was in the pool. No, I'm gonna go with Gremlins, man. I'm gonna be that guy. And that's why you guys love me.
That's fine.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's nothing wrong with that. Well, with Gremlins 2, in the theatrical release had Hulk Hogan in the middle. If you rented the VHS tape, you got John Wayne in the middle. Whenever the real cut. So two different versions that were filmed for that.
Oh.
And I was always pissed when I rented it because I'm like, Dad, look, Hulk Hogan's in it. And then we go to the splice section and it's John Wayne shooting Gremlins cowboy style. I'm like, what the hell is this? We saw Hulk Hogan in theaters.
I don't think I've ever seen that version. Yeah.
So, with that being said,
holy crap,
I got to vote Tremors. I love Tremors. I own the box set 1 through 6, Frozen Hell, even the ones with Jamie Kennedy. I own whatever Jamie Kennedy's been on.
Jamie Kennedy got a raw deal, dude. That guy's actually Mass 2 destroyed that guy too. Jamie Kennedy is awesome.
His alcoholism destroyed Jamie Kennedy. His alcoholism did not Scream 2.
No,
not that.
Mass 2. Mass 2 was like just a horrible.
Oh yeah, Mass 2 was bad. Mass 2 was pretty bad. That one was pretty bad. So next up, with this battle, since we're going to the next one, we have the classic Warner Brothers, when they tested the waters for, Universal Monster-esque era movies, they released the Deadly Mantis. All black and white, giant mantis coming out there, destroying cities. It was a fun film, but that movie is going up against the indie classic that has more cameos that they spent their budget on than they actually did a great story, and that's Feast. And if you've seen the Feast trilogy, there should be a part 4 just to wrap things up, because that ending in part 3 is a what the hell moment. So, Deadly Mantis versus Feast. Scott, you went first last time. I will go first this time. I'm going to go with Feast. Again, the opening intro, you think you're getting the hero in that movie, and it completely spills over to somebody else. That guy bites it within first 5 minutes. You get Jason Mewes getting murked off. You get Henry Rollins getting murked off. You're getting all these people just getting destroyed within the first 10 minutes. And then it becomes a Gotta Survive the Night creature film, which is very well done. Love the movie. That's my vote, is Feast. So, Chris, what's your vote? I think he is frozen. No, he's drawing. Okay. Scott, what is your vote? Chris, we cannot hear you.
Chris, you're on mute.
Chris, you're on mute.
Crap. Okay.
There you go.
I'm there. I'm back. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Yeah, no, my bad. So I'm gonna go with Feast. I'm on board with Aaron on this one.
Such a good movie. Scott, what was your vote?
Yeah, absolutely.
So these two I'm not very familiar with. But with your description, just because of what you just described, and because of a movie I recently did a fresh eyes watch on, 1988's The Blob.
Okay.
Frank Darabont, that movie was so much better than I remembered. I could do an entire podcast episode on that one. But one of the things I loved about that movie is all of a sudden people started dying, and
Mhm.
you were like, he's not supposed to die yet.
Yeah.
What is he doing dead? No, she can't die right now. And that movie
Yeah.
just it kept your attention so well. So I will go along with the Feast with you.
Yeah, Feast definitely has the Scream opening with like with Drew Barrymore, which her getting because she was promoted as the main star of the whole movie,
Right.
and within 5 minutes she's gone. She's dead. So Feast has that aspect, and you have to watch all three movies because you will see people pop up like, "Hey, wait a minute, that's Cole from Martin. What is he doing in this movie? That's so and so for that show. What is he doing in this movie?" In this series. It's such a great movie. You could probably get the trilogy for like $10 at Walmart. It's that well done. So let's go on to the next one. We've got the cult classic Critters, the Krites, the Death Sonics, whatever you want to call them. Those things that rivaled Gremlins back in the day. Going up against James Gunn's basically what put him on the map in Hollywood, Slither. If you haven't seen Slither, you've got I can't think of his name now. The guy from Firefly, Nathan Fillion. You got Nathan Fillion. You've got Pam from The Office. You've got several other people that he's worked. Michael Rooker. Michael Rooker's in everything James Gunn does.
Yeah, Michael Rooker's in it. Yeah.
I think the only cameo you don't have is Lloyd Kaufman, but still, you've got all of James Gunn's people, including his exes, that are in there, and it's just a fun movie. Critters, again, cult classic, great show. I mean, great movie. Not good shows, but still great movie. So, Chris, what's your first vote?
Man, I go with Slither. I enjoyed the movie immensely, but I get squirmy, so it's not a heavier for me. So
okay.
But I remember it being good. Now that being fair, that being the case though, honorable mention to Critters, I think, was the turned into the big ball, and Critters number
2.
Was it the first
Part 2
with the 2 aliens?
No, first one had the
Part
giant
2?
critter.
Yeah, and they
second
turned the
one
big
had
ball.
the death ball. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and then the alien was flipping people off or whatever, and I flipped my mom off in the kitchen while she was making spaghetti, and she got mad at me. So that's when I started learning how to use the middle finger. It's Critters.
For Critters. So your vote is Slither?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Scott, what's your vote?
Okay, so nostalgia-wise, of course, Critters is a great movie. I mean, just the Krites, the bounty hunters. You got Billy Zane gets killed by a Krite. How can you beat that?
That's the bar.
But just Slither is one of the best recent body horror movies that was made, and that movie was really well done as far as casting goes. Special effects are incredible, and one of the things I love the most about Slither is the soundtrack and score.
It's got a good soundtrack.
It changed my perception of some songs because I relate scenes from that movie to some songs that are out. So yeah, I got to go with Slither. Slither was just a great one. That is one of my favorites. Me and Rooker talked about it for a while. He has a great relationship with James Gunn. He just loves working with him. I mean, he's done 3 or 4 movies with James right now at this point. So he had the cameo in Brightburn, Velcro Experiment, and then Slither that he's done with him. Plus, of course, Guardians
and Suicide Squad too.
Yeah. So yeah, that movie is just Slither is definitely the one that I think on that.
And honestly, I'm just going to repeat that because I was going to choose Slither as well. That was a hard one for me to choose because I really enjoyed Critters.
No, he's a yeah.
I'm not going to lie. If I have to choose between Critters and Gremlins, I'm going to choose to watch Critters because that one's just to me better done. Yeah. I love Gremlins. That's a classic. But Critters, I just like that one a lot more.
Man. It's hilarious, dude. It's a great movie.
Gremlins for me became a Christmas movie. So,
definitely did become a Christmas movie.
Well,
I usually watch it at
Christmas
Christmas
time. Movie for kids, and then people took kids to see it, and the kids freaked the fuck out.
Yeah,
the movie's definitely not made for kids.
Hell sure, yeah.
So all right, so next up on our brackets, we've got the Roger Corman classic, Humanoids from the Deep, versus David Carradine's probably his finest movie ever made, Q the Winged Serpent. So Q the Winged Serpent, basically, the legendary Quetzalcoatl attacks New York City, descends on it, as well as there's a serial killer running around, mass murderer, serial killer, whatever you want to call him, running around as well. So Detective David Carradine has several things going on at one time that he has to deal with, and he's getting too old for this shit because at this time he is going bald. So, and then a Humanoids from the Deep, you've got your gore, you've got your creature effects, you've got Roger Corman, so you know you can have topless women. It is a fun ride. So, Scott, you can go first on this one.
Okay, so Humanoids from the Deep, I've seen that a bunch of times. Of course, like you said, you have Roger Corman. It's a good movie. It's not bad. But I watched Q a little while ago, and you got Shaft. You got Richard Roundtree himself. You got David Carradine. You got Michael Moriarty, who is an alum of Larry Cohen. And you have a Larry Cohen film that opens up with a decapitation in the first 20 seconds of the movie.
Sure.
I got to go with Q. It's a dragged out movie. It's goofy as hell. A lot of stuff doesn't make sense in it. The winged serpent picks people up, and then next thing you know, somehow their bodies are like moving around, and they're in different positions with every shot.
Yeah.
But it's a great movie. It was a fun one. So yeah, I got to go with Q on that.
I go with Q. All right, I will be up next. Q the Winged Serpent is one of those movies I waited for on DVD or Blu-ray back in the early 2000s because this is whenever like retro releases were becoming a thing, and I bought it. And I'm like watching. I'm like, what the hell am I watching? I forgot that the dragon was even in it because it starts off because it becomes like a detective story, him fighting the serial killer, and then like, oh yeah, there is a creature in it. I forgot about that. But with Humanoids from the Deep, it's like you know what you're getting right away. You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
So I've got to go Humanoids just because of the effects. It's Roger. I think this is one of Roger Corman's best. And there's a moment in my time a few years ago where I was watching every Roger Corman movie that I could get my hands on, including his bad ones and including his decent ones, and then Humanoids, which is his good one. So I was watching all of them. And I've got to go with Humanoids just because it's just a fun movie for me. It's so much fun. So, Chris, it seems like you're the tiebreaker.
Yes, sir, I am. I'll tell you what, man. You have me at breast assists. And, they always do, right? So I'm going to go with Corman. Yeah.
You're going to go with Humanoids. All right.
Yeah. Si, senor.
It's a fun movie. I know they they got a steelbook release a few years ago, which I think that sold out along with what was it? For Terror from Beyond the Stars or Forbidden Planet, one of those movies. They came out at the same time with the steelbook. Definitely urge people to go pick it up.
How did he land directing that never released FF movie, Fantastic Four?
I think it was something like they couldn't get the rights for like the music.
The rights, so they just got the first guy.
Well, no, they filmed it. I think they couldn't get the music rights or the sound rights or something like that, and it's been in developmental hell.
Wow!
And it just got passed up, and now it's never going to see the light. So, sadly, I wish it would happen. But I mean, you can find a DVD copy of it at the con. Yeah, go get a bootleg at the con.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't support bootlegs. No, we don't. All right, next up, we're in our final four. We're in our final four. We have Feast versus Tremors. I'll start this one off. It's a tough one, but again, I've got to go with Feast. It's just a fun creature feature movie. So that's my pick. Scott, what's your pick?
This one I got to go with my heart, and I got to go with Tremors. Just that movie is movie had a huge effect on me. I love Boys. I love Tremors. Like I said, just the cast and everything. I've seen that movie so many damn times. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So, Chris, you want to break our tie for us?
Let's do it.
I do, man. I tell you, I didn't go with it the first time, given what I had more, nostalgia for. It'll be Tremors.
Tremors? Hey, Tremors is a good movie. I'm not even gonna lie. Tremors is fun. I probably watched the first 2 movies. The others, I kind of they happen. I probably won't watch them again, but the first 2 I definitely watched. They're fun.
Yeah, they are fun.
So Tremors makes it to the final 2. Next up, we've got Humanoids from the Deep versus Slither. Corman versus Gunn.
Ooh.
Only in a brackets would you ever get those 2 directors facing off without a Lloyd Kaufman cameo. So, Chris, you're first.
Yeah, James Gunn would be, if he had his choice, he'd probably bow out and admit defeat here. But I'm pretty sure he's got some reverence for that. I'll tell you, I'm gonna go with Slither.
Slither. All right.
I'm gonna go with Slither.
All right, Scott, what's your pick?
Well, you won't have to worry about breaking a tie barely this time, but you're talking about the guy that started with Romeo and Juliet.
That's true.
Got to go with Slither. Like I said, just one of the best body horrors in a long, long time, and the movie is just a lot of fun. It, when I first saw it, I didn't get what I was expecting, and I was very happy about that. So Slither was just a good fucking movie.
Slither to me was the first. I was going to pick Slither anyways. Slither to me was the first movie where I heard actually somebody product name Mr. Pibb in a movie. Nobody ever talks about Mr. Pibb. That's like
Mr. Pibb product placement.
That's like the ginger stepchild in and everywhere because people say Dr. Pepper. They never say Mr. Pibb. So the fact that the mayor of that town requests a Mr. Pibb twice, it got laughs from it got a laugh from me. And then fast forward to Suicide Squad, Nathan Fillion's character shrinking to Mr. Pibb as he's walking in the intro. Whenever they're all going to go die on the island, he's drinking to Mr. Pibb.
Oh wow!
So it's like, that's
holy crap!
Hey, James Gunn loves his Pibb. So, I mean, it's a good choice. All right, so we're in our final 2.
Oh yeah,
we've got Tremors versus Slither. This one might be a tough one. Usually, the final 4 and the final 2 are always the toughest because it's like deciding which child you love more. But in this case, it's which movie you spent the most amount on to buy. So I'll start this one off.
Right.
I'm going to go Tremors. I mean, I love Tremors. The first one has always been great. I've probably rented that one at least 10, 15 times when I was young just to keep rewatching it. I love Slither. I own Slither on the Blu-ray. But Tremors, it's always just fun. You're watching Kevin Bacon trying to act, the best actor in the whole film, putting his heart and soul into this movie, while everybody else could probably go work at Kmart the next day because that's their acting level. So I'm picking Tremors.
That's true, man. That's fair.
Scott, what's your pick?
I would have to go 100% Tremors as well. That movie is such a classic. Everybody knows Tremors. Literally, every horror fan is familiar with Tremors and enjoys that movie. There's not a whole lot wrong with it.
I mean, everybody knows Tremors. I remember I was reading or I was listening to a interview from Ben from Fright Rags, and he's like, he's like one of the properties that he gets requested the most has always been Tremors. So when he released I think they had like 4 shirts, they sold out, but he has to keep applying for the license, and usually he doesn't get it because the franchise he owns is like, oh, Tremors doesn't make money. It doesn't make money. But the merch always sells out.
Right now.
Yeah, it's making money right now. It always sells out. So, Tremors is it's always a great movie. It's always great. Fun movie. So that's our creature and monster winner is Tremors for 2023. First bracket is done. We are done with the first bracket. I'd like to say thank you, Scott, for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure is always.
Where can people find you besides Houston Horror Film Fest? Where can people find you?
Well, we do have an event coming up in October 28th. We got our Halloween pop-up market metal music fest coming up in Boston. other than that, just here and there, of course, on Instagram at Old School Creole, and you can find me also. Just follow all our pages. You know, we got Houston Horror Film Fest, Houston Horror Events, and Midnight Media Entertainment that you can find on all social media platforms and stuff. But, and I'm just a little bit everywhere.
That's awesome. That's great to have you on. You've always been a fun guest to have on. And if we do a Christmas one, we'll have to bring you on for that too, because the horror section. Because funny enough, when we did the Christmas one, the horror section got the most requests. People wanted to do that for some reason. They wanted to do the Christmas horror section. Okay. So if we do that, bring you back on again.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah. There's some great Christmas horror out there too. A lot of a lot of great indie stuff.
There's so much good stuff. There's so much good stuff always coming out that I enjoy. That I love to talk about with my friends, that I share trailers with. So we'll have to have you back on.
Oh, yeah.
So again, thank you for coming on.
Anytime.
Chris, you do art stuff. Where can people find you?
Mostly on Instagram. You can contact me or follow me at Chris Foreman Artist on Instagram. You'll see me haunting the interwebs.
So you got an appearance coming up at TerraFest, right?
Oh, you know what? Like yes, Fest. I will be there. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm having connection problems tonight, man. Yeah, I'll be at TerraFest in Conroe. It's the 7th and 8th, right? Yeah, October.
Yeah.
It's coming up pretty soon. And I'll be out there hanging out, man. So if you got a chance, come by and say hi and buy some arts. You know, support your boy.
Go buy those art prints, and they can find you on Instagram. I know you're always posting your artwork, Chris Foreman Artist, with the @ symbol in front.
Mm-hmm.
So buy some arts from Chris.
Chris Foreman Artist. Yeah. Please do. I need money.
Buy those commissions too. So, all right, guys. Again, it's been fun with this first part of the bracket. Can't wait to get in the rest. Again, Scott, you've been great. Thank you for coming on. And as we close out, just remember, always unfollow, never unfriend. Keep that positive going on social media. And until next time, I'm your host, Aaron.
I have been Chris.
And we will see what happens with the next bracket set. So later. And fuck Poncho.
Later, man.
Thanks for listening. If you like what you heard, check out CrossTheStreamsMedia.com to hear more episodes of this podcast and the other shows on the Cross the Streams network. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you download your favorite shows. Visit CrossTheStreamsMedia.com for more information. See you next time.
This has been a Cross the Streams Media Podcast.